In this video, I'm going to show you 3 different ways to shape your mind to looking at food for fat loss. If you're a busy person, say you work 40 to 60 hours a week, you have a busy at-home life, you have kids, you have a spouse, you're trying to take care of a house and home, you can still have all that and lose weight. And it all starts with what you eat. This is 3 ways to think about the food you're eating for fat loss specifically. Maybe you've tried eating better in the past. You hear all these conflicting things. Fiber makes you bloated, carbs are bad, fats are bad, beans are healthy until they cause bloating, olive oil's good, olive oil's bad, seed oils make you fat. This is the same framework I use with my busy clients every single day. And it's the same framework that I've used my entire life. I personally have never been in a place where I've been overweight or obese, but I've been surrounded by people who have been growing up. So I've seen it from a spectator's point of view since childhood. These 3 mindsets, you're gonna have so much better of a time losing your weight during your journey. Make sure you stick around the whole video because I'm saving the best one and most important one for last, especially if you've been burnt out before and time does not come easy. Now, I wanna start off with saying that this is not about being perfect. This is not about knowing the ins and outs of nutrition, the science, the macros, the micros, all the ins and outs about this stuff, because I don't claim to know all that. I know enough to keep me at the body I want, and that's really all you need. Sustainable fat loss is the real goal. So you do not need to memorize nutrition and the science to lose weight. Mind frame number 1, confusion around eating is the real problem, not the food itself. People think that fat loss fails because they pick the wrong foods. I touched on this a little bit in the intro. Carb fear, fat fear. What am I doing wrong? I have to be perfect here. I have to make sure this is perfect and I have all my nutrients in this certain area for my age and for my size, and it's not about all that. But I don't blame you for thinking that because this is such a saturated topic. This is something that everybody claims to know everything about. It's conflicting information everywhere you go. And if you're American like I am, the food that we have access to is not helpful. The less rules there are, the more attainable something feels. This is why people fail is they get busy and naturally their focus shifts to what they're doing and their nutrition takes a back seat or their health takes a back seat and they just think about getting through their day-to-day with as little or insufficient calories as possible. And I've been a big victim of this over the years. I've been insanely busy with everything I've been doing, and I'm still guilty of this sometimes. When I remember to eat, I eat, like healthy, that is. I always remember to eat, but it's stuff that's going to get me towards more of my goals than others. I've been on a running kick in the past couple of years, like I'm gonna do another marathon this year, but those goals look different from when I used to lift like 5 days a week. I'm trying to be able to do it all now and have a nice balance. It's so easy to throw it all out and say you'll start over because you feel like you've fallen off too hard or you've already failed. That is hard because we all have something that is going to inevitably get in our path, right? That's just the way life is. And all these people who claim to know it all telling us different things, it's like, okay, well, what is the answer? So if there's so many conflicting things that we hear, the easiest solution is to just not do any of them. So I want to tell you that if you're feeling this way, if you're confused, if you are overwhelmed on all the different options and where do I go with certain things and how do I go about eating, just throw all that out. Make it as simple as possible. I've been eating, even if it means eating like the same things every single day, as long as it's something that's like not heavily processed, it's not gonna make you gain more weight. If you need to make it, whatever works in your brain to make it the most simple, go with that. Go with something that you could sustain and that's not gonna burn you out. If you have to think about all these complex meal plans and putting all this planning into your grocery lists and stuff that's not gonna be a thing for you right now, then don't do it. Just focus on something that's going to get you to that point where you can focus more on it. My clients succeed when rules are more simplified, and that leads to more consistency, which is the single most important factor to succeeding. Mind frame number 2, no food is evil or bad. It's all subjective. It all is situational, based on the person, based on the scenario. Context will decide everything. People label foods as good, as bad. This is good for you, this is bad for you, this is gonna set you back and cause cancer and just kill you. This is all you need to know. If it doesn't mess up your digestion and it makes you feel full, that's all you need. Why? Because it's repeatable that way. Basically, that means you just need 2 non-negotiables for every single time you eat: protein and fiber. Protein because it makes you maintain your muscle, especially while losing weight. It prevents you from losing muscle, which won't mess up your metabolism, and it won't stall your weight loss and fat loss even more. So muscle is crucial. And with fiber, number 1 preventer of colon cancer, and it aids in digestion. The problem with bad digestion is that it could just mess everything else up. I like to think of it as it cleans the internal pipe. It makes everything run smoother. First of all, it slows the process down. It can cause insulin resistance, high blood sugar. It's just added obstacles that you don't need, especially for something as simple as just eating. Without thinking too much about it, just make sure your plate is colorful. The more color you have, the more fiber it's likely to have. There's also little things like portion sizes and calories matter a lot more than what the label is specifically. Frozen versus fresh, single food ingredients versus processed, swapping out foods instead of just cutting them out and telling yourself you can't have them. That's what doesn't help either, is people think that restriction is going to be the answer. There's something psychologically tested. There's been countless studies about how if you feel like you can't have something, you're gonna have an urge to want it more. So tell yourself you could have it, just give yourself a barrier. If you have, say, a thing for chips, right? Just don't keep them in the house. If you want it, tell yourself you could easily just go out and get some. But just having that barrier in place of having to get in the car, go out of your way to find them, is going to prevent you from consuming as many. It's little things like that that are going to help you. They add up. It's just going to prevent you from having that much more extra empty calories. That's what they are. If they do not have that fiber and protein in them, they are empty. Of course, every micro and macro has its place, fats and carbs respectively. But for weight loss specifically, protein and fiber are the key ones. If you take anything away from this point, it's this: people lose weight when food becomes predictable, not perfect. Mind frame number 3, and in my opinion, the most important: sustainability beats optimization every single time. The best diet, or you know what, I hate the word diet. The best eating habits are not the ones that are healthiest on paper. They're the ones that you could keep going with. They're the ones that you could have with a system, a proven system that's helped you. I'll use myself as an example. Watching multiple family members struggle with their weight, some even had weight loss surgeries, it made me realize from a young age how important it is to watch what you're putting into your body. That phrase, "you are what you eat," is 100% true. You can't just look at a certain food for what the food is. You got to look at it for how it's going to make you feel. And that's, to be honest, the main reason why I've stayed lean for my whole life, is I remember how those foods make me feel physically. And by watching people I love growing up, I see what they do to somebody firsthand if eaten in excess. So I just have picked up being very careful about what goes into my body. And while I have been consistent with exercising since I was 14, there's been dry spells for sure where I've went X amount of time without working out, but that didn't matter because I kept my eating habits intact. When you keep your eating habits intact, you stay at the weight you want to be. I have a client right now who had McDonald's the other day and has the occasional bag of chips or snack. And she specifically tells me, like, after practicing eating better things with me, when she ends up having one of those other things, like going back to her old habits when life gets crazy, right? She tells me how much she feels gross just her body in general feels gross eating it. Your body starts to adapt to these better choices, and it flat out just rejects the old foods you used to have regularly. Your body realizes that that stuff is not good, and it starts rejecting it. But you're never going to get to this point until you start with changing those foods, because your body's not going to notice a difference if there's no changes. So that would be the first step. Start making swaps to the foods that you want to be more like, foods that have protein and fiber. And it's not just what the protein and fiber do for you, like directly, it's also what they do for you without you even realizing it on the back end. That's making you feel more full, which makes you eat less, which leads to more weight loss. So if you're starting your weight loss journey and you feel super motivated, I want you to use it, but don't count on it being around forever. Watch this to learn how to keep that motivation going even after it fades. If this video helped you, make sure you like it to show it to more people who might need it, and subscribe for more weight loss that fits real life.